So that's what's sort of got me thinking about this. Well, we've got to a point where what we are doing is we are running a democracy for the minority. And this has played out in Western society for the last 10 or 15 years. And some of the minority, I mean, is not just the minority vote. It might be within our country, we have, 3% of people that are impacted by X problem, 5.7 impacted by Y problem, and 1.3 impacted by Z problem. Now, a healthy democracy will still ensure that you're trying to take people forward that fall in those minorities. So it might be a disability minority, it might be a cultural race minority, and it might be some other type of minority, right? So you don't say, well, we're the majority, screw you, in a healthy democracy. However, you don't say, well, we have these minorities and they're quite vociferous, or I think that they're the preeminent reason why I do things, and then your entire legislation is throwing out the will of the majority to cater to that minority. So that's where, for me, I think this question arises.
But Dave, democracy is bound in participation? Everyone gets a voice. That's why I say it's for all.
It's now, definitely for all.
You mightn't like the outcome, right? The right or the left or the middle or the Greens or whoever, but everyone gets a vote. Everyone gets to participate in this process by which we elect governments. Now, if you're not getting enough of the primary vote, right, and we've got this two-party preferred system, so every vote counts in theory, right? If the outcome is the outcome and you don't like it, I still think democracy is for all, because the process by which you get to go to the school, get your democracy sausage, go up there and vote, that's what I treasure, right?
But democracy is more than just the process of your vote, because democracy can't be on a 12-hour period every 3 years on a federal cycle. That's when and this is what I mean, that's not when democracy kicks in. That's part of the process of democracy. To me, what it means is whether you're trying to make America great again or whether you're trying to fix Australia and take it forward, Tony, it doesn't matter who you are as a leader. You've now won. You realise that you still should be governing in the best interests of everyone, not just who you think are.
I agree, and I think
now within reason.
Yeah, but I think some leaders across the world do that better than others. Some societies do that better than others. Some leaders choose to be quite polarizing and confrontational once they get in and start going after their opponents. John Bolton. And that happens. But I take your point. They have to govern for everyone, and they should be. This is where I get confused, because based on your earlier or your first comments, the Labor government got 35% of the primary vote, right? So they can't say they got a mandate. I kind of agree with that. Maybe I don't know. I have to process that. But you're saying anything they took to the election, they actually don't have real confidence or a mandate to actually go forward with that, because only 35% of people voted for it.
Let me clarify. I think that they still have a right to implement what they took forward to the election.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think you need a mandate for that. So let me clarify. I think that the policy platforms you lay out and you run on in an election cycle, and you win even with 10% of the primary vote, right?
Fine.
And you get through, you have a right to implement what you ran on. You put those policies forward on the basis you articulate them clearly. You didn't lie. You laid out what it means and enough information. I think you have the right to go forward and do that. Even if that means those policies will impact 10% of the population and there's 90 that'll miss out. You laid them out. You won. Go for it. To me, when I hear mandate, that means there's a whole bunch of stuff that you go over and above what you laid out, or things you didn't even speak to.